Hey everybody, I'm TJ Major, spotter of the 6 Cup car. We ran the 88 this weekend, had a good run till the last half mile. And yeah.
You didn't do ARCA?
Oh, I did do ARCA with Andy J. We
just forgot about him. I mean,
dude, it's been like a week. Sorry.
Brett Griffin spotted for the famous number 3 car this weekend in Michigan, Austin Dillon. Also had my boy Jesse Love, and I loved spotting for Jesse.
He didn't love to finish.
Nope, because he didn't listen. If he'd listened, we'd have finished good.
Is that true?
No, not really. He thought he had a flat.
Oh, is that why you pit?
Yeah.
Oh, I got you. Hey, what's up? Freddie Kraft, spotter for Bubba Wallace. Kyle Upside Down Sieg this week. It's always a good feeling when you're spotting and your car's flying through the air upside down. That means you're really doing your job. I think Casey finally has had enough of us. And to fill in for Casey today, hi, Karsyn.
Hi, I'm Karsyn Elledge, and it's another great week I get to spend with y'all. You guys get to be blessed with my presence, so this should be fun.
I think we want you to stick around for just a little while.
We'll see how this goes.
We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of questions.
Are we interviewing you or are you
Yeah.
interviewing us?
I think we're going to interview her at some point because there's a lot that went on this weekend.
To be determined. We'll see.
Karsyn, what have you been up to lately? What are you doing these days?
Black flagging people.
I'm not in the tower or the flag stand. I'm just on pit road. No, we've had a crazy schedule this summer with Car Store, so we've been pretty busy, but busy on Mondays and Tuesdays with penalties lately as well. So I feel like we understand NASCAR a lot at this moment with all that's going on. So we've been crazy.
So are you doing like the tour full time?
Yeah, so I handle all of their marketing and partnership management and then all the social media and digital content.
That's also who's your boss?
Kip, I guess, right?
Kip's your boss?
Kip and Keeley. It's just the 3 of us. I mean, that's your Cars Tour staff is me, Kip, and Keeley. So
That's a really questionable management
Is it
staff.
a Keeley I know?
Do you have to have a name that starts with the letter K to work at the car store?
well, our intern's name is Kevin also, so maybe.
Oh.
Is it a Keeley that I know?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. I also have a daughter named Keeley, but it's obviously different.
I was going to say, I think you know more than one Keeley, but
Yeah. Yeah.
Is she looking for a job?
So here we are, first time ever post-race
Yeah.
DVC, I think.
I feel like Denny a little bit, like getting this out.
I think we beat Denny. I hope we're recording before
Denny's
him.
probably already done recording.
I doubt it. He probably did. Maybe he did it on his plane.
He probably took off in the backstretch. So
Did any of us have a good day? I don't know. I know
my
did.
day ended up.
What the
okay.
hell were you
What?
doing on the last restart?
Trying not to wreck.
You went into turn 1 and stopped.
You have to make the corner. We made the corner fine. Just because everyone else is trying to run over each other isn't our problem.
Your speed decreased a lot more than everybody else's around you for some reason. I didn't understand why.
Just because we're all trying to make the exit. And I don't know if you saw the 9-speed increase through the exit of the corner there.
Blaney mentioned something about that.
Yeah, I would say so. He went from a top 10 to like 17th or something like that.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine.
You started it.
Where'd you finish?
No, we didn't. 5th.
5th.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Where'd you finish?
I think 17th. We had a really good stage 2. We're on the right side of strategy, and at the end, man, we should have pitted when the 19 hit the wall and brought out the caution. I guess it's debatable whether or not that should have even been a caution, but we were running about 16th then, so we didn't really gain or lose a whole lot. But if we had pitted then, all the guys we had ran around all day, even including TJ, they ended up with top 10 finishes, so that kind of sucks. But I had fun, man. I had a fun weekend. It was good to get back in the saddle, and honestly, going into Daytona next weekend, it wasn't a bad thing for me to just get back up there and get back acclimated because it's been a few weeks and you forget how easy it is to not pay attention to all the little things and all the little details, when things are going on. So we've got a lot of responsibility, and I forgot how much.
I have good news for you.
What?
Today's race, or yesterday and today's race, was going to be much more crazier than next week will be. Daytona used to be the crazy one. You're good now. We're going to run 2x2 and have throttle for the whole race next week, so you'll be fine there.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean,
he hasn't experienced this yet. I don't think.
And he's like, no, we're riding to the airport together tonight after the race is over, and he's just like, I don't get it. Why doesn't somebody just run wide open? I don't understand. Like somebody should just upset the apple cart.
Just be patient.
Go for it.
You're going to learn all this.
I want to see you do it.
And I told Freddie, my brain is trained to do certain things in the draft. When that top line's coming or when somebody's got to run, and it's like, no, you just give it to them and keep saving fuel. And I'm like, but my brain's not trained for that.
Did you say anything dumb today?
I say something dumb every day.
Are you going to be there next week? You didn't tell me to wreck anybody or nothing like that?
No. I think if God willing, and they don't fire me between now and Friday, hopefully it's fun. If you can't say on the radio, I'm fired because I dropped a few F-bombs today.
Why?
Oh, that's having fun,
That's
man.
that's a
Imagine
sentence.
that.
That's a sentence.
just a
Yeah.
normal
I said
sentence.
like I
That's a
talk.
Tuesday.
That's like we're coming to the green.
Yeah, that's
What was your first moment?
oh what?
Like yeah, I'm
oh.
trying not to beep him out right here. So
Well,
what's your old
12
okay?
wide on a restart, probably.
I didn't have an moment. I was just like, let's go all day. Like I was pumped up, man.
Like Kenny Powers. Let's
Let's
you
go.
bet, yeah.
I mean, there was one time when I said 3 wide when the 24 squirted the middle. And I was like, well, I didn't expect him to do that. 3 wide, you're up top. And I'm screaming. I'm scaring myself right now. But no, man, I mean, the restarts in the Cup Series at that track are absolutely bonkers.
I feel like they're tame compared to like an Xfinity restart there. These guys all stay in line when they get to like most of these Cup guys are like 2 by 2. They know if they step out, the Wolves are going to be all over them. So
Well, no, 2 wide on me getting into 1 all day. It was wild. But and let's talk about the Xfinity Series for a minute, right? I love the Xfinity Series. It's my favorite series right now of all the top 3 touring series. I wish we had run the normal package versus the package that we run. Like I wish we could literally run the package that they chose to run on Saturday, and then Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening we run up and we line up and run the old one, because I'd be curious which one I'd like better, because it was extremely hard to pass once we got spread out.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to pass. I thought it was boring to watch. You know, you're slower than you had. Like I think the
way slower.
the what you look forward to in the Xfinity races are these guys are on edge more so sometimes than the Cup guys, or at least look that way. You know, they're able to drive their cars a little more on edge. You know, more skew. You see them.
Yeah.
You see it more. Obviously, the guys are on it. The Cup guys are on edge, as we saw today with 2 of the best spinning out. But you know, those cars are more fun to watch. So then when you dumb it down, it just looked like I don't even know what the hell it looked like. It just looked like a slow parade, really.
It was a little different than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was. Man, they went down the straightaway. You're like, are they lifting or what are they doing?
I thought at times coming out of 4 they were pitting, like they were
They
going
could run low.
They were going slow and running low.
They were still like you're still on edge, but you didn't have that. They just looked slow, but that's not always a bad thing. You can still have cars on edge. I mean, they're still doing 170 mile an hour in the corner, or whatever. I mean, that's still plenty fast.
It was obvious who hit it, right? It was obvious who was trimmed out. I mean, we were running with Jesse, in the number 2 car, right behind pretty much Austin Hill all day, and obviously RCR has a big reputation of at those kind of tracks with this particular package being really fast. And the 7 came around us on the right, about blew our door number off.
Yeah.
And then there was another couple cars, some of the JGR cars. The 81, I mean, he was freaking fast and changing lanes, reminded me of Jamie McMurray like every corner. But it was obvious who had more speed. You know what I mean with that package.
And that package shows, it just rewards patience. Because it didn't matter how fast your car was. If you got out of line and they were lined up behind you, you might have pulled up next to the guy on the bottom, but he was coming back by you with 10 of his buddies down the back straightaway because you got out of line. So I think at the beginning of the race, I had Kyle Sieg, and we obviously benefited, I think, from some guys pit at one point, but we started probably mid-20s, and I think we were running 6th or 7th towards the end of the stage, and we really hadn't. I mean, we were passing guys, but only because they got out of line. There was no we weren't really being aggressive at all. We just let guys make mistakes and go by them, or a couple of guys pit. But that was something that really rewarded aggression, not
near the end
patience.
of them.
Jesus.
In the long run, though, like there was, we were behind the 20 car, and the first slip that we saw him have out front, like he had to lift off 2 a little bit, and Karsyn got a pretty good run on him. And we weren't really trying to save fuel at that point because we were short. So I asked Andrew, the crew chief, I'm like, should we just decide to save, or should we just go around him? And they had said he started lifting into 3 because he's fighting some handling. He started lifting off of 2. He was lifting a little bit. So we just blew by him and kept on going. And I still think there was some handling issues, but you could tell, like, that 7, like, he was fast too. So
yeah, he was fast. Kind of like today's race, which started yesterday. Obviously, we get to that in a second. But I felt like yesterday, Bubba had probably the fastest car. And then today, once we fired back up, I felt like, man, that 19 was a freaking rocket. And being around some of those guys, like, they just had way more grip, way more speed down the front stretch than we did. So it's unfortunate the 19 had the finish that he had, or the ending that he had with hitting the wall. But I thought he screwed Reddick when he hit the wall.
Is it not unfortunate that I had a finish?
Well, you shouldn't have pitted and got back there and all that.
That's the way you win the race. What do we do on here all the time? Win the race.
I mean, yeah, you needed to win, but I mean, you forfeited track position for tires in hopes that you would come back up through there.
So the first stage, we did the same thing. We flipped it. We were going to get stage points still. You know, we restarted that stage, I think, 8th or 9th, drove back up to 3rd or 4th. Second stage, we flip it again. We come out 12th. As long as we don't get wrecked, we're going to get stage points, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The best driver in the world spins out in front of us.
By himself.
Yeah.
Max Verstappen's laughing.
So
somewhere.
yeah, it's a tough week to claim you're the best driver in the world and then spin out. But
when everybody else is saying you're the best, shouldn't you not say it?
yeah, I mean, we have been on this campaign for a while, I think. But yeah, I don't know. That's
Karsyn, what do you think?
About what he said?
Yeah.
Is it bad that I agree? Maybe like a little bit.
I think we all agree, but that's the point.
but
We're
like
saying,
that you shouldn't maybe like gloat, perhaps,
or
say that you're
just
the best.
let other people
Let
say
other
you're
people.
the amazing,
Fair enough.
which you are, but maybe not today.
Karsyn or Kyle?
Me.
Both. But yeah, so that's where our thought process was. We'll go back up there, get some more stage points. When them guys pit, we cycle to the lead or top 5. They're buried in traffic, and you see what Ross did that, flipped it. He bends up back there, buried in mid pack, and ends up getting turned on the last lap. So it's a strategy play for sure. But it worked out the first stage. Obviously we were in the wrong place at the wrong time this time and ruined our day. But I agreed.
But you did get to finish.
Yeah,
because if you didn't get to finish,
yeah,
ooh.
Yeah. I don't even know what we gained at the end or where we finished, but we were going to be, it was looking like, I was kind of checking during the race, and it was looking like we were going to come out of there around 12 to 15 points behind Ross and Buescher both. And I think now we're probably like 16 behind Buescher and 1 behind Ross. So, we're still right there, just off the cut line. So our season was not ruined in that moment, but we're definitely, as fast as our car was, I felt like we could have came out of there with a nice cushion going to Daytona, and now we're coming from behind again.
Let's talk about Michigan for just a minute, and let's start with the traffic on race day.
Jeez.
Did we get a new head of security?
I don't know what happened.
Like what happened? Because the traffic was awful, and then when you got to the track, you couldn't get in the gate. The gate traffic was awful. Then we start the race in the middle of the afternoon when all the showers are popping up, and we all knew we were going to have rain at some point. We do get rain. Now, here's the unfortunate thing. I think they need to move that race up. A, you don't have lights. B, it's in the middle of summer. Couple showers here and there, you end up in the scenario we're in. Had they moved it up an hour or started it at 1 o'clock, we would have got the entire race in yesterday.
I mean, we would have got at least halfway.
We would have got the entire race in because we would have gotten a ton of the race in for the hour and 20 minutes that we all sat around before it started raining. Then we had a chance to race, right? We got in 50 laps or whatever it was. We were going to have another chance to race. But I applaud NASCAR for not putting us back out there, because if they put us back out there, we were going to race till dark, and it was going to change the playoff picture.
Yeah.
It was going to screw or help somebody tremendously, because we weren't going to have enough time. If we were going to go back green at, say, 7-ish, 7:05, and then we can only race till 8:20, we weren't going to get all the laps in.
Racing to halfway or racing just to get to that point you can't do that.
I applaud them, but they could have.
I mean, it's not the right thing to do.
And they didn't do it, and I applaud them for doing that.
I agree.
That was a good thing for the playoff format, but, man, that place was packed yesterday.
Yeah, that's part of the reason.
You gotta stop. You gotta cater to the fans, man. You're gonna have more fans in attendance there if you run on Sunday. You're gonna have more fans watching on Sunday. You lost all that when you raced on Monday.
Yeah, and you might lose some, just like you said. The traffic getting in. I don't know what was going on at the gates out front, but the lines to get in were ridiculous.
But we've been driving. I've been driving through that tunnel 25 years. They stopped every single car and said, "Do you have a gun? Do you have a firearm?"
They didn't stop. We didn't get stopped, but they stopped a lot more than they normally did. I mean,
there was a dog there and a firearm.
I've had that question asked me before there, but it seemed like there was more frequently this year. I just don't understand. The gates, like what's going on there. Is that just because everybody's coming at once? But I mean, we were getting ready to start the race. and we're coming down from the rain delay. They're all right. We're going to put them on pit road, and we look out, and the line of people they were going to miss the start of the race by quite a bit. So it's unfortunate. We need to figure out something there to get these people in and out a little bit quicker. But yeah, I don't know what happened because I don't really remember that.
This is a good problem, though. Honestly.
For sure.
So,
but the problem is,
well, you got enough. I mean,
the problem is, are they going to come back if they had to do that? If you stand in line for 2 hours to get in, are you coming back the next time?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that definitely needs to be looked at. But it's to have that many people there wanting to go. There was a lot of people there, so that was a great turnout for Michigan.
The 3 T's of racing are traffic, tickets, and toilets.
But you just made that up.
No, that's like a Humpy Wheeler rule.
I've never heard that.
You got to be able to get to the track. You got to be able to use your ticket to get in the gate. You got to be able to take a piss when you want to take a piss. Remember that for your social media campaign, Karsyn.
That's the 3 T's. Unbelievable.
It's fact.
I don't have words for this right now, and I don't
have the energy to argue with him right now.
I don't. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, "Have you heard of the 3 T's?" I mean,
Tiffany's shaking her head. She's heard of them because she did PR like I did PR. You guys don't have the background, in PR that we have,
and I've never heard of the 3 T's.
All right, Karsyn, take us a spot on, spot off
somewhere,
please.
Anywhere but the 3 T's.
Yeah, one of the T's, please.
All right.
You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sports book.
Well, we have something a little different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV.
Then, with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account, a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime.
Just visit FanDuel.com/DBC to download America's #1 sportsbook.
21 plus and present in North Carolina. Full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. All right, are you fellas ready for a little spot on, spot off?
Yeah, I guess.
Here we go. All right, last week, NASCAR announced penalties for Austin Dillon and Joey Logano after their late race antics at Richmond. Spot on, spot off. Freddie.
Yeah, I spot on. We were pretty adamant on here about what what we felt like they needed to draw a line in the sand. If I said on here multiple times last week, if that wasn't across the line, then I don't know what was. And apparently to them, they went back and looked and they deemed it across the line because he got to keep the win, got to keep the purse from the win, but he lost his playoff eligibility. They lost I believe 25 owner and driver points. Was there a monetary fine? I don't think so. And luckily for Brett, his spotter got suspended for 3 weeks.
That wasn't lucky for me at all.
Well, I mean, you had to pay for that Bahama vacation somehow.
That's true.
So, and then Logano got $50,000 for the pit road deal, which I thought was, I don't know. It was in line, I guess, with like Bubba's post-race penalty. I was expecting it to be a little bit worse, but I'm not, spot on for pretty much everything that happened there.
Well, there's an appeal coming this week with what Austin Dillon did post-race, and so we'll see what happens there before I comment on it. I guess what I'm spot off about is when they announced the penalty, I still don't know. So you can wreck one guy but not 2 guys. Can you prove that he knew the 22 was going to wreck when he hit him in the butt? Like, according to some of the data experts like TJ,
I don't think it's anything to do with the 22.
The 22 slowed down more than he had been, and Austin drove in not as deep as he did in qualifying. Like, there's all these things that are going to have to come out in the appeal for me to, have a full-blown stance on it. But
Austin didn't drive in that deep in qualifying? Is that what you said?
I said he didn't drive in as deep as he did into qualifying.
So he drove in deeper in qualifying than he did right there.
Yeah. And again, I don't have all the data. I don't even look at SMT, as I said today over the radio to the crew chief, but just some of the things I've heard. So it'll be curious that when they present their case, what the panel sides with, right? And then there's not a lot of, things you can do or say on here to know what they're going to do, because I don't know what stance they're going to have. As far as the Joy thing, I think one thing that people are missing as far as this fine goes in his comments is his car had a lot of damage, and he claims he had full control of it, and I believe that he did. But I also know that car was damaged, and if something were to break further, then we could have potentially had a lot of problems. And it's just people standing there. So I think they got to keep the people safe. And again, the crowd that's saying there shouldn't be that many people on pit road. I didn't see that many people on pit road other than crew guys and a family trying to cross to go to victory lane. So it's listen, and I'm sure this has been said a million times, I don't care who the driver is, and I don't care what the scenario is. That decision should have been able to be made in 5 minutes, not in 3 days.
100%.
And then it can get appealed, right? And then it can get the case can be presented. But for us to be, in a situation where, 3 days after a race, we're finally announcing the win counts, but not toward a playoff.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
Well, with that, like how I mentioned earlier, like we've been struggling with penalties and appeals and things with Cardstore. Like in that scenario, that's when the series is responsible for having all their ducks in a row on their rule book to back them up on if this scenario happens, XYZ is what we do. And like you learn in these scenarios when they happen because you can't just write a rule or anything that you don't know something about. But with these scenarios, with our Lapsovich deal or like the Joey thing, you see what goes on and you learn. And then that's when the series has to have their stuff in order as well to be able to say, this is what we're doing every time and this is why. And in 5 minutes that that's the decision and you don't have to wait days.
I feel like the car store doesn't mess around. You get a black flag.
I mean, they were
We're handing them out like Oprah right now.
Saturday night,
You get a
Friday
penalty.
night.
You get a penalty.
You were in the scene. You were there. You
looked
get a
at-
black flag.
You saw that guy spin. You're going to the
You're-
back.
yeah.
To the back. Butterbean, we're done. Black flag.
Dale Jr. got a Chad McCumbee,
Yeah,
aka
I mean,
Dale Jr. got a black
He waited
flag.
when he went by and got a black flag. I
I'm
mean,
telling
geez.
you.
I'm spot on for how they handled it. I mean, I don't like the delay in the call, but for what they went back and looked at and decided on, you have to do something because we can't be destroying each other. And this, if you don't do something here, this opens everything up at the end of the year for who knows what stuff that I don't think anyone wants to deal with. And if you don't set the tone now, that leaves it like there could be a lot that goes on later this year in playoff races and stuff. So I think there was enough there. I don't think it mattered. I think Austin was going to do whatever it took to win. If there was 3 cars up there, he was going to try to hit all 3 of them. I think he was going to do whatever he could do to get up there. And for them, I hope going forward, maybe they look at this now and say, okay, well, this was really blatant that you did all this. Like, you just right hooked a guy for a win. You're not doing that. And maybe as they're running the cooldown lap, they take this, hey, you're not winning. This guy's going to victory lane. You're not winning like that. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but I hope this opens the door for that type of, getting it over with right then, not waiting till Tuesday or Wednesday.
So do you think that he right hooked him, right reared him?
100%.
Why didn't they suspend him? Why didn't they suspend him?
I think they said that they felt like, first of all, they referenced what I said on here last week, that it was not retaliatory like the other ones were. And they also said that the penalties that he got were also pretty severe, so they weren't going to just continue to pile on.
Yeah, I believe he was coming down. I don't think he went down and said, I'm going to right hook Denny. I think he came down hoping to get there early enough to block, to get him in the door, before Denny had position on him. But Denny was already too far past him to do it. And when they hit, they were going to hit no matter what.
You've raced.
Well, some, yeah.
Freddie's raced. Carson's raced. Carson, in that moment for Austin Dillon, do you think he sees red and even hears what the spotter is saying, or he's reacting?
In my opinion, I think in that moment, you're just 100% in the moment of what's happening and not listening to anything that's going on, especially given his scenario as a whole. I think he was just seeing red, like you said.
That's why I made a comment last week that I hope they didn't blow the spotter thing out of proportion. Yeah. And I don't think they did. I'm really happy they didn't fine him, because if you come out with a $25,000 fine, you're talking about after taxes. Some of those guys don't even make much more than that, right? So I agree with the suspension because of what Brandon said. And again, I'm filling in for the guy, and I know that he won't do it again. And I know that my 35 other buddies up there, well, probably 30, it's 4 or 5 guys I don't like. But the other 30 buddies that I like up there,
what's their names?
I don't think they'll make that mistake. Yeah. And here's what's hard about that is I'm not cognizant of what I say on the radio.
Yeah.
I am spotting like I talk, right? And so some of that stuff that you would say, or I've said in the past, you better be careful.
Well, and at the end of the day, they're responsible for which direction that car goes, no matter what you guys are saying. So
yeah,
the only thing I think that Austin heard on the radio was get down or get low, get down. Yeah. I heard because Austin is looking at Denny, but then as soon as he hears get down, he's like, oh, there's another guy coming. And I don't think from that point on, Austin isn't going down. He's going down there no matter what when he hears get down, get low, whatever it was that Brandon was saying, which he should have been saying. I mean, you're trying to win the race. So, I mean, that's the only thing I think Austin heard. Austin was going to come down, and they just so happened to hit. And, you know, if they hit and Denny spins down through the grass and doesn't hit anything, I'm not 100% sure much goes on.
I think the funniest thing that came through this, and listen, I don't always agree with a lot of stuff that Joey does. When the analogy he made to describe how he was feeling at the moment when he said it's comparable to somebody breaking in your house, taking all your stuff, and then 1 minute later you see them celebrating on your front yard with all your stuff. And I was like, man, I could now understand a little bit more. But, you know, to that point, when you talk about getting to victory lane, they're not going to victory lane. They're going to the front stretch interview. So the victory lane's down in turn 1. So this is what I harped on last week when I saw people talking about this. What do that in victory lane, not on the racetrack, and then the people are not trying to get across pit road to get out there, which they would have this week because victory lane's on the front stretch of Michigan. But, you know, if you just let the driver get out, celebrate, wave to the fans, then drive the victory lane and celebrate with your team and have all that raw emotion. But instead, now we got guys running across the racetrack. Some guys get there, some guys don't. Now we have another victory lane when he gets into victory lane. Like,
yeah, I kind of miss the driver getting out in victory lane with everybody for the first time.
Yeah.
I kind of miss that.
I wouldn't have a problem if, you know, just do your interview. Like if you know, Kyle Busch would always get out and take a bow. Do your burnout, get out, take a bow, get back in your car, drive it to victory lane, do your interview, see your team. Like that's fine by me. But now we got, you know, it started with an interview now because, you know, then we I love the guys get to celebrate with their kids and the kids ride back in the car with them sometime. But like now this is the that happens where you got guys trying to cross pit road when they shouldn't be trying to cross pit road. And
I mean, winning a race is a big deal. So you understand the excitement, but I don't know. I just miss the rolling into victory lane. Everybody, I mean, it used to be you didn't go anywhere. You hauled ass to victory lane.
Straight there. Yeah.
Well, Joey Logano has one of the coolest poses of anybody. He gets out, holds a wheel up in the air. It looks very heroic. And the crowd goes wild. And then you get back in the car and drive to victory lane and celebrate.
But he used to do that. He did that in victory lane, though. That's who he started that in victory lane.
I know, but the TV freaking breaks it all up. Like, just let them do what they want to do and go to victory lane. We even had Dale Jr. on here on this show talking about that years ago of how he didn't like the freaking interviews after the race on the front stretch.
I'm surprised they haven't changed it yet then.
Me too.
All right, let's get into our second one. Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson both spun on their own off turn 4. Larson's spin collected several cars and ended Logano, Bell, and Gilliland's days. TJ, spot on, spot off.
Oh boy, that was I'm spot off because I'm kind of both because I don't like seeing tore-up race cars, but man, some guys needed this for points. There was some heavy hitters in there that didn't need to have bad days, and you know, there's a lot of guys that are straight up points racing right now, and I mean, you're one of them. You can't swing for the fence right now. You've got to be strategic and try to get stage points, and then you got to try to salvage a decent finish out. But you know, at some point when you do this, you're going to be in the thick of it. You're going to be in the soup there for a while, and you got to get out of it. And today, you know, you guys got caught up in some stuff there. There were some other good cars that got caught up in it, but I mean, you know what? I guess it's nice to see natural cautions. These guys are on edge, and when you see a guy like Kyle Larson wreck, I mean, that shows you how on edge these cars are still, and how on edge they're driving them. I mean, Kyle Larson just doesn't spin out for fun.
Yeah,
you know, it's because he's trying to go fast and he's on edge.
I thought you saw it comparably very similar instances where like they basically lose all their air. You know, they get in a bad aero spot, and is what it is, and they're just so much on edge that once you get in that spot, it's over. Like happened to Denny right behind us early in the race. That was actually yesterday, I guess. He spun right behind us. Same thing, kind of crossed our wake on it right at that exit of 4, lost it, and the same thing happened where you see kind of Blaney move down a lane in front of Kyle, and as soon as you see him move down in front of him, Kyle turns sideways. Yeah. So it's like it's just a really bad aero spot, but it just shows you how much on edge these guys are. Where if a guy moves one lane one way or the other, how greatly it affects.
But also to add to that really quick, it shows you the difference between where did Kyle Larson spend most of the race in the beginning, up front.
Yeah,
you get in the back there. It's a whole different handling car when you're back in there.
When we yesterday, to Brett's point, our car was unbelievable in traffic. Like let's start that race. We drove by, I don't know, 5 or 6 guys. drove to the lead, had that big move down the front stretch when Denny and Kyle were side by side. And I'm like, once we get out front, we're lights out. We're driving away because everybody we had passed, it took us a couple laps to pass them. Then when we passed them, you would drive away by 20 car lengths. And I'm like, okay, lights out right here. And we got out front, and Bubba's like, well, I'm loose as now. Like, so it just changes that much when you got no clean air.
Loose is not either. Like, being tights sucks because you feel slow, but being on edge into the corner when you got cars all over you like in Michigan is not the most comfortable position to be in.
Drivers with the most talent run out of talent the most. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's kind of how it is. Kyle Larson cost him and his team 7 playoff points today in the event that he can't make up this ground. If he wins the regular season championship, he gets 15 playoff points. He went into today's race leading. He came out, fourth?
I would say third, probably.
He came out fourth.
Was he fourth?
Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin both passed him.
Denny got back up.
So he cost himself and his team 7. That's a lot playoff points.
Yeah. Unfortunate. And but before we get off this wreck, did you see Todd Gilliland? I don't know.
The pickle car?
Poor Todd. I don't know. Somebody had told me on the plane that he said he was looking in his mirror at the time of the wreck, but he goes bowling for race cars in this wreck, and he gets about 3 or 4 of them pretty well. Chase got us. Bubba checked up for Kyle, and Chase kind of popped us in the back and knocked us into it. But I mean, there's really nowhere for anybody to go at that point. But poor Todd was mid pack, and he
was in a pickle.
He went bowling for race cars.
He was in a pickle, huh?
All right. NASCAR called a caution after Martin Truex Jr. scraped the wall, setting up an overtime finish. Tyler Reddick said this on his team radio before the final restart. Is that a joke? Come on, that's he touched the wall. Spot on, spot off. Brett.
Man, I saw it and I saw it happen, and I mean you're going fast, and he didn't just like brush it, like he went up directly toward the wall and hit it, and had he kind of lost control of his car and just kind of brushed it and drove off, I probably would be in a different stance than what I am. But seeing that in real time and seeing the angle he went up and hit, I didn't have a problem with the caution. It sucks. It sucks for a guy like Tyler Reddick that has the race in the bag, just like Austin Dillon had it in the bag the week before when Ricky Stenhouse pulled his stunt. But I know it. They were quick to the trigger, but if they were looking at the same wreck I was looking at in real time, I would have thrown it too.
That's why. Yeah.
I didn't see it, but it's from what I heard, he kind of got free, chased, busted his ass and chased it up and hit the wall and then stayed in the wall. And that was, I think he
didn't stay in. Well,
he didn't.
He rode. We were right behind it.
Yeah, he didn't just get in it, touch it, and come right off. I don't think, according to what Brett told me. But that's consistent with that. I think it was it Kyle Busch at Richmond that kind of went up and brushed it and kind of rode it a little bit off of 2, and it got the same kind of caution. And same race director as Richmond. So I know Dale says that a lot. Like race directors. Some are quicker to the trigger than others. Some are, whatever it is. But yeah, I didn't see enough to call it a bad caution. But obviously Tyler's not going to be happy no matter what because he's got the race in the bag. And you talk about the playoff implications. Ross Chastain was probably going to finish in the top 10 somewhere, I assume, and he ends up getting turned on the next restart. And now he finishes a lap down 20 something around us. So that's a big hit for them.
Yeah, you can't. Martin, if he would have got low, everyone kind of reacts to wrecks too. You got guys that hit the wall and they just get out of the way. If they know they're getting low, like my instant reaction when we hit the wall is get out of the way. Because I know if you stay in the groove, there's more. You can get hit by things, or somebody might not get checked up. You get run over. My instant reaction when we get into the fence is to get him down out of the way safely. But that's not everyone's, and not everyone's the same way. So, and some of them get in the wall and they know if you stay in the groove, you're more than likely going to get a caution.
And you talk about and for us, we do it as a spotter sometimes. You mentioned if they're looking at it, they would have looked. If they weren't looking at it and they just they catch it like mid, they don't even know exactly what's going on, but they see a car heading to the wall, they're going to be even quicker to the trigger. Yeah. So it's sometimes we see something catches you the corner of the eye and it draws your attention right to it. So
it does matter
when the tower misses it. And had they missed it, I think they would have keyed up once they saw he had a problem and said, corner worker in turn 4, do you have anything on the racetrack? Yeah. And if that person had said no, we would have stayed green. But I think they saw it in real time just like I did.
I think if they see it a few hundred yards later and Martin is getting kind of back up to speed a little bit maybe or something and he's not rolling slow. But I also commend them for not doing things like at Bristol whenever there was cars trying to get caution, staying in the groove, slowing down. I hope that continues to be that way whenever it's obvious. You know what I mean? But I think if they see it right away, and they it's like a dangerous scenario or something, then I mean I don't have a problem with that caution. I didn't really want to see it myself, but it makes it exciting.
Corey LaJoie flipped after slight contact with Noah Gragson's left rear. There was contact between them on the previous lap when LaJoie bumped Noah's bumper. Spot on, spot off, Freddie.
So I didn't. So the lap before this, they got into it, right?
I watched it happen.
So then,
yeah, they didn't really get into it. Corey had a big run, and Noah slid up like at the very last, like almost. When you get close, it was like they're gonna wreck if he comes up. It was that close, and Noah slid up. Yeah, oh yeah, I was like, I started tensing up. It wasn't even my car, and they had a moment off of two, and I looked over because I'm standing next to Spike Hair. Well, Stefan. Spike Hair.
Spike Hair.
Oh, Spike.
Are you talking about Stefan Parsons?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm standing next to him, and I'm like, "Ooh, that was close." And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Who was that?" I asked him who it was because I didn't know if it was the 4
they all
or the
look
10.
The same, yeah.
And he's like, "That was Noah." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Next lap, I look back there, and Corey's upside down. I'm like, "What happened now?"
Yeah. Speaking of cautions, that one took a little while to come out.
I mean, we were texting after the race, and Freddie and I were talking about it. Do you think that Noah came down and helped turn him?
Noah, I mean, looking at it, Noah moved down a tiny bit. I don't know if it's just a natural reaction from a guy whenever somebody's trying to side draft you. You naturally kind of chase him a little bit, I think. I don't think you can do that as a driver. I don't think you can turn left. And if Noah can do this, he's
Superman.
I mean, you're putting yourself at big risk because
100%.
You're going to get turned if if he just holds his line.
I think Noah, but I'm not so sure that the Corey timed it super close to start with, and I'm not sure it didn't. Maybe the wake moved a little bit too, but I don't think Noah can be like, "Oh, there he is." Like there's no way
a car cannot turn over any faster than that one did.
Oh, it was quick.
The second he was yawed out, he was going upside down.
Yeah. So the caution come out, and
by then he was a flipping.
It almost looked AI generated.
It did. We were coming off 4, and I'm like, "All right, Brad, caution's out." And I'm like, "I got one upside down." And Brad looks at the screen on the inside. He's like, "I was looking at the pylons who were running and stuff." And he's like, "Oh, that's a big one." I'm like, and then I had time to key back up and said, "Yeah, he's still flipping." So it was like forever.
Yeah. And one thing I'll say about it, and we've harped on this on our show, everybody harps on about the grass. What we talked about is paving these things so you don't get the violent flip. 2 days in a row, Kyle Sieg and Corey LaJoie both flip to their roof. They get airborne. They get that, when air takes them, flips them on their roof. Well, now they're just sliding on their roof. They're not tumbling down the backstretch until they get to the grass. And once they get to the grass, they start tumbling again. It just lends itself to that theory of let's get rid of this grass and we should take away some of the more violent wrecks.
Don't flip.
That's another thing.
Don't flip over.
Easier said than done. During stage 2 of the Xfinity race, Riley Herbst clipped Ryan Sieg after being cleared by his spotter. Spot on, spot off. I'm going to let y'all decide who has the first opinion.
Go ahead, Brett.
He cleared him.
He did.
And he wrecked.
And it's the one thing I will say, and you know this as well as I do, we've all done this job long enough. A lot of the stuff that we do, if you're doing it correctly, is anticipating. You know what kind of run you've got. How fast you're moving by the guy where you think you're going to get clear. And I think this is where they got in a little bit of trouble because Riley, I think, was going to clear the 39 in the 3. And right before he gets clear, Brandon Jones gets to his back bumper, then the 39's back bumper, and starts to push. And I think that changed the game, really. I think that kind of started moving the 39 back outside where, it was tight and it sucks. I've cleared a guy. I think we've all cleared a guy and wrecked him. Maybe not TJ. TJ's perfect.
Well, I cleared Dale Jr. one time at Pocono. We were not clear. So
here's the thing about it. It's the word that we say the most, and it's the most dangerous word that we say if you're wrong. And I wrecked Elliott at Bristol. We were racing Brenda Gone. We were hauling ass, and I was like clear high, and Brenda got a huge run off the top, and before I could say outside, Elliott was moving up, and we got turned, and I didn't sleep for 2 days. And it's not because Elliott got hurt. That's not the problem. It's, you're sleeping with, or can't sleep with, the conscious of, man, I screwed my team. I tore this car up. I up, and I got to live with this. It sucks.
And there's times where, it happens to me, and you just gotta you want to be clear. You know what I mean? In that situation,
Oh, yeah.
you can't, if you go in that corner. And the thing is, I think if Riley would have just entered the corner normal, I think he would have got clear. But, you're also trying to, that the top has been dominant. These guys, there's 20 cars lined up on the 39's bumper. So you're trying to get there as fast as you can, and you miss by a split second. I mean, it wasn't like he hit him in the wheel. It was like the corner of the bumper that they clipped, and it's just unfortunate. But it's, listen, we all make mistakes. There ain't nobody perfect. I don't know anybody on that roof that hasn't made a mistake. And
how many times a year do you key up that button and go clear and just kind of
pucker up,
draw up?
I did it Saturday once for sure. I don't remember doing it. I didn't race long enough today to do it. But, I mean, it's once a week probably, I would say.
It's
the
tight.
exit of 4 at Michigan's tricky.
Yeah.
Even the entry to 1, but usually the entry to 1, the guy in the cup car, at least, they kind of got it figured out beforehand because they know the way that, they're not as nearly all over each other. I think it's just easier. But off of 4 at Michigan, man.
Off of 4 at a lot of tracks.
Yeah,
Dover, Darlington, Daytona
when they
this
run the
week.
bottom, anytime where they run the bottom and top and they have that meet point at the exit, like that's the tough spot. Like Dover's tough, but we came off Saturday. We came off of turn 4, and Karsyn got a really good corner at the bottom, and he come up in front of somebody, and I didn't clear him. He cleared himself, and there's no way I would have cleared him. And I was like, outside, go clear, okay. And I was like, oh God, we're gonna wreck here. I don't know how he did it, but he did a really good job. It scared me.
How do you evaluate Quapple?
I think Karsyn, for the amount of experience that he has, when we have our meetings, sometimes he's almost so quiet you don't know if he's really listening. He's just really quiet, but he's soaking everything in. And man, I'll tell you what, he adapts to a T when you give him info. You can be like, all right, Karsyn, this is where you need to start out. This is your line. He is on that line from the very get-go, and he knows how to. His mistakes, like how you have somebody lose the nose and they shove way up the track, have a real big moment, way out of the throttle. His mistakes, instead of being an 8 or 9 out of 10, are like a 4 out of 10. And then he never makes the mistake again. You could tell him, like, all right, Karsyn, off of 2 at Michigan here, you have to have the left front headlight out. If you cross the wake from this point to the exit, you're going to probably end up in the fence. Never happens. He just adjusts and learns so fast. And he's so man, it could be the most tense thing ever. And you're up, and I'll be like, how you doing? He's like, oh, I'm pretty good, a little free. And he's like, okay, I'm up here. I feel like we're about to wreck every corner. I'm nervous, and you're down there, just a little free.
He's so nonchalant.
This is going to sound, Karsyn, did you race with Karsyn at Millbridge?
Yeah,
I know you guys were there at the same time.
Me, him, and Caden all raced together growing up at Millbridge, and he's always been that way. I mean, he was out of the gate.
The funny thing,
really
the funniest
talented.
part, so we get into a little incident early with Austin Hill, and Karsyn did everything he should have done. Austin was trying to crowd him, and Karsyn moved a little bit, and then he stopped. He didn't give any more, which that is how you stand your ground when a guy like that, because Austin Hill he's learning this guy. He's like, I'm going to make this rookie lift here. And Karsyn moved enough to where, he was giving him some, and then he stopped. So now Karsyn stood his ground, and we get a restart. He's like, did I do anything wrong there? Was he clear? And I'm like, obviously he wasn't. And I went down and talked to Derek, and he's like, no, that's 100% on us. He was trying to get that. He was trying to clear himself, and it didn't work out. So later on a restart, Austin Hill's right behind us, and Karsyn comes on the race. He's like, I think he said, is he going to be a mad person?
Is he going to be a mad
It was
person?
something just like that.
I
But he
promise
comes
you'll
on
find
there,
out.
and he comes on, he's like, is he going to be a mad person, or are we okay? And he's real quiet, like he was asking, but
That's funny.
no, he does a really good job, man. I'm really impressed with Karsyn. He's a sponge, and he's got a lot of natural talent.
Last thing I'll say about this, Karsyn, is when you're a quarterback and you throw an interception, you usually get the ball back next set of downs, right? You're a baseball player and you strike out, you get another at bat. When you're a spotter and you wreck a car, your day's done.
That's it.
You've your team for the whole weekend, and that's hard to live with.
I can
Yeah.
imagine.
This deal with Riley too. That's the part that I have a problem with. Is just so early. Like, you have a lot of race left, and that clear,
And the fastest car.
and he had a really fast car.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, you got to weigh out these things. And honestly, I put a little bit this on, and Riley had a really good interview from what I saw as well. Didn't throw anybody on the bus, just chalked it up and goes to the next one. But
Then he got on Twitter.
oh, he did.
Somebody got on
Where it
Twitter.
goes downhill for everybody.
Well, maybe I'm an idiot.
Well,
but
we knew that already.
But Riley, like you got to know, like you got to big brain this thing. If you get clear of that guy, great. Which I do think he clears him if he dives off to the bottom right there.
Yeah.
There's no reason to come up. This is an early part in the race. Like there's still fuel strategies playing out. It's gonna rain. We got a lot of things that have to happen yet. Still, don't beat yourself.
Now it's time for our favorite segment, Reaction Theater, where it's your turn to be heard. Reaction Theater is brought to you every week by Consumer Cellular.
Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable, nationwide coverage as leading carriers, but with plans starting as low as $20 a month.
And now for a limited time, get their best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of free service. That's right. The same fast, reliable, nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life do come in twos. See ConsumerCellular.com for promotional details. Jay, let's go to the calls.
Told my boss I had to meet a client at Applebee's at 11 o'clock for a 2-hour meeting, mainly so I could just go watch the race. There was never a client. Some dude sits next to me at the bar telling me about how much of a diehard Joey Logano fan he is, and, it's Joey's year to win the championship. Watch him get mad when he gets a flat tire. A few moments later, Kyle Larson wrecks in front of half the field. Joey Logano's done. Guy gets up, leaves 3/4 of a beer, leaves without saying a word. Rough being a Logano fan these days.
Wonder if Mike Harmon was at Applebee's.
You think he was there?
Looking for you.
Date night on Applebee's.
No, who was he looking for?
Every
Ned?
time I'm on the show, you talk about Mike Harmon. Every time.
Well, really?
We haven't seen. When's the last time we
talk
saw
about
him?
him?
he
We
was-
talk about him often.
I thought he.
He hates Brett too, but I think that was a net. I think he was trying to fight it out.
Oh,
Or
maybe
something like that.
Yeah, I thought he was trying to meet Brett there.
Shout out Michael Annette. I know he listens every week.
Hell yeah.
I get a text message at God knows what time from him telling me about something stupid Brett said.
Where's he living now? Is he still around here?
I don't know if he. No, I think he's in
Applebee's.
Iowa.
He's back in
Applebee's.
Iowa.
Is he? Okay.
Applebee's.
Man, Kyle Larson must be hung like a mother because he sure steps on his a lot. Come on, Young Money. Maybe it's Hung Money. Hell, I don't know.
Hung money.
Hung money is crazy.
That's it. That's
Hung
sorry.
money
Hung
is greater
money
than
is
young money.
Sorry, Kyle. I will never refer to you as Kyle
Oh.
for the rest of my life.
We're making a T-shirt. Hung money.
Oh my gosh.
We can't not. Hung
No,
money.
you have to. You have to.
I already feel like
You
he's
have to.
past the young part.
I'm wearing it.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Jesus.
I love the reference to
awesome.
steps on his a lot. That was even better.
Yeah.
Do you have to beep the D word?
What,
Jay does. Jay's over there going, yeah.
Yes,
You sure? I was just talking about a guy named Richard.
I got a question.
Jesus.
How come anytime we're racing in Michigan or New York or somewhere up north, why do they have to sing "Oh Canada"? We're not in Canada. We're not in Canada when we're racing in North Carolina or Georgia. We're still not in Canada, people. Just because we're near Canada, we got to sing "Oh Canada"? I don't understand. Somebody explain it, please.
Somebody, Mike Herman, looked to me during the "O Canada" national anthem there and on Saturday, and he said, "Do you think Canadian stadiums that are close to America sing the American national anthem before their events?" And I was like, "I doubt it. Like, I don't even think I've seen a hockey game where they sing them both."
Probably not.
So, yeah, I don't understand.
I think it's just, I think because you share borders.
Do you think? Yeah, I mean, we met a
How many
guy-
hundreds of times have you heard this song?
Me?
Yeah. How many hundreds of times have you heard this?
I know the words to it. That's how many times I've
I only
heard
know
it.
two.
"Oh Canada."
Oh,
Canada.
My
The two most
native
important words, though.
land.
We met a guy from where, I don't remember where the hell he was from.
I want to hear TJ sing the anthem.
I mean,
No, I
we
don't.
stand on guard for thee, Brett. I mean,
Can you sing the French part?
Sure, what's up?
oh my God, here we go again.
Everybody's saying that the car store hates Canadians right now because we disqualified Lapsovich.
Lapsovich.
So,
Do you sing the
If-
Canadian national anthem?
I want to know how you
well,
say
maybe
hung
I should
money in
learn it
French.
so that they'll be nicer to us.
I think you should play it.
We should start playing it at car store races.
that's
Get
good.
them back on our good
maybe,
side.
Maybe get back in the good graces.
Get them back on our good side.
Oh man, Brett knows French, Australian.
He doesn't know Australian. We've already determined
yeah.
that. That was
Mike?
English.
I'm just Googling how do you say hung money in French?
Just ask Siri. Hey Siri, how do you?
Will she say it in
Yes.
French? Hey Siri.
You probably don't even
How
have
do you
Siri
say?
set up.
Well, I do got Siri. Hey Siri. How do you say young money in French?
Hung money, stupid.
Oh,
Yeah.
hold on, Siri. Hey, stop.
Cancel.
I don't use Siri. Let me try it one more time. Hey Siri. How do you say hung money in French?
Argent suspendu.
What the did she say?
You didn't hear that?
It'll tell you on the screen. Just
I
look-
thought there was no way that she was going to do that. No possible way.
Argent pendu. That's it.
We're going international, folks. This is for our international
This is
listeners.
in honor of the Olympics.
Yeah, Paris 2024. Hung money. Holy.
Hung money.
Wow.
Or the,
It's got to be in
French
French.
version.
Yeah, it got to be in French.
French version.
Long time listener, first time caller. Got a couple things that I got to get off my chest. First off, Olympic break calls me to start watching Flow. Who the is this Tony the Tiger mother racing at Bowman Gray? And why is he allowed to do whatever the he wants? Second off, my what an idiot for this week has got to be the mother that decided to pan over to Brad Keselowski while his pasty ass is taking his shirt off. What in the name of White Rocks by the front road is that?
Yeah, I unfortunately witnessed that.
Was it post-race?
It was pre-race, right? It was before they were fixing to go back green yesterday. And they were talking about him and cut to him, and he was like stuck in the neck of his shirt trying to get his shirt off, and they just
Must have had a cool shirt.
They just stayed on him.
Oh, Bill Venerini did that. He almost killed us all on a bus riding down the road. Herm tells this story much better than me, but he looked up and Big Bill would drive the bus. You know, he had like this, like travel, not a van, but it was like a bus. And all of a sudden you hear I'm sound asleep in the back of this thing and the bus starts swaying. And I'm like, I hear this. Oh, Herm gets up. Big Bill's got the sweatshirt or a hoodie over his head, but can't get out of it now. So he's driving at like 80 miles an hour. Can't see. Herm's got to grab the wheel, help him out of his sweatshirt. It was a full-blown disaster.
It's probably the fastest Herm's moved in a while,
It was for sure.
Holy I'm here at the race getting rained on because NASCAR NBC can't have the balls to move the start time. I tell you what, noon start time, get this race in greatly. But, we're sitting here at damn near, about 4 o'clock and downpour. About to come back here tomorrow. Thanks a lot.
He didn't seem he seemed upset.
He's an angry elf.
Evidently, Corey LaJoie is a much better and faster driver on his lid than he is when he's actually on all four wheels. All right, bye-bye now.
Damn, I'm glad Corey's okay, but that with his wreck, bro, it looked like from NASCAR Heat 3 where you just hit a car and then you immediately go upside down. That's crazy.
The coolest damn part about NBC is the graphics they give us. Them showing like the air and the car getting backwards and all the difference, like putting in a virtual wind tunnel. That must be more technology than NASCAR has since they can't get these things right. But whatever. I'm glad Corey's okay, but I don't know what he was. I don't know if he tried wrecking Noah. I mean, or if he just misjudged it that bad.
Well, this is exactly what we didn't need. Corey LaJoie spinning out on the backstretch and then flipping over and then landing on his roof and being there and making everybody freak the hell out. Oh my God, these cars are going too fast at Michigan. We need to slow them down. Let's just put restrictor plates here. No! Stop it! I don't want to hear it! I'm telling you that's going to make it worse. Look, all I'm saying is NASCAR, please do not overreact to this. These cars go fast. Like this is going to happen. Everybody needs to calm down.
Everybody needs to calm down.
Everybody.
Maybe including you, my friend.
Yeah, you need to calm down.
These wrecks down the backstretch reminded me like when the 1987 cars came out on iRacing and everybody was talking about.
We were all flipping over.
Trying to do the blow over there.
Yeah, I was trying to flip. Yeah. I think Dale Jr. slipped me in them things many times.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, it's a fact.
Man, I'll tell you what was crazy about watching that race at work was at one point Rick Allen was talking about some new spotter up there for Austin Dillon. He said some drunk, gap-tooth looking mother. I knew exactly who he was talking about. You, Brett.
President of your fan club?
Brett Griffin. Biggest in NASCAR. Talk would get his ass whooped 99 out of 100 times to real men.
99 out of 100 you lose?
I hate to tell him I've won more than I've lost.
Whether you love or hate Brett, to leave an audio message 24/7, call our number 704-802-9572. We'll play the best ones each week on the show. You guys, this whole time I thought this was a drawer, and I've wondered why everything's falling on my feet. This is not a drawer.
You've been putting in there, and there's.
Damn.
Well, guess what?
Yeah,
We got a segment.
Can I be an idiot?
We got a segment coming up for you here in a minute.
Consumer Cellular is the official wireless partner of Brad Keselowski, RFK Racing, and the 6 Car. If they can count on Consumer Cellular, you can too.
Brad Keselowski and RFK Racing know speed, and that's just what you get with Consumer Cellular.
Have you seen Brad's Consumer Cellular convertible? A symbol of savings, you might say. That thing is awesome.
Consumer Cellular has award-winning 100% U.S.-based customer service center, so you can always get the help you need. It's like having your pit crew right there when you need them.
Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable, nationwide coverage as leading carriers, but with plans starting as low as $20 a month.
There are no activation fees and no contracts. Consumer Cellular customers stay because they want to, not because they have to. They don't need to trap their customers.
You can even try Consumer Cellular for 30 days risk-free. If you don't love it, cancel it, but they bet you'll love it. And now, for a limited time, get their best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. See ConsumerCellular.com for promotional details.
Now it's time for Ask DBC. You can send in your questions on X each week using hashtag AskDBC, and we'll answer the best ones. Eric Johnson asks, after his recent hot stretch, are we leaning towards Tyler Reddick being the championship frontrunner? The playoff schedule lines up really well for that 45 team.
I hope so. We've said on here before how we've all, I think 3 of us, TJ worked with him at one point. We've all been really big Tyler Reddick fans for years. He's our favorite elf. He comes on for our Christmas episode
Fireball elf
every year. Yeah. But yeah, I'd say he's probably, if he's not the favorite right now, he's the hottest driver in the sport right now. He's got a bunch of top 5s. So he finishes second to a new winner, feels like every week. So I was glad he got around Kyle there late in the race. These 2 idiots sharing glasses now. But yeah, I mean, he's been on a roll lately. So, I mean, and like they said, the playoffs line up really well for him. Should we call him?
He's not going to answer.
I have a bone to pick with them.
He just started his party.
He's probably flying. Is he home?
No,
already?
he's home.
He has 13 playoff points, so it looks like he's 4th among playoff points, but he'll get 15 if he retains a championship lead. I mean, he's definitely a guy that's in the conversation. I mean, but don't forget about how fast the 24 was earlier in the season. Like, they've been in a position where they can try a lot of new things, and when the playoffs start, those guys are going to bring their best stuff.
To me, this is the most wide open year.
You think so?
I think there's 4 or 5 guys that could get hot right now. And
don't you always feel like there's 4 though?
I feel like there's 2.
Really?
Like most time, yeah. I feel like there's 4 or 5 that if they get hot, it could be game on.
I think Martin Truex,
he's going to have to get hot.
He's going to have to get hot, and
Monday
I feel
Martin
like
is not a thing anymore.
I feel like he's going to have to get hot, and I know, man, their cars are definitely fast enough for him to get hot.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, there's Denny could get hot. I mean, you got. The 20 car could get hot.
Listen, Denny was a rocket this week. He spun out and did a bunch of damage to his car and still drove back to the top 10, I think.
You know what I see things, there's things that certain guys do. And Denny, and I wouldn't have probably agreed with you 10 years ago, but Denny, when he does interviews and stuff and tweets stuff and makes comments, he speaks a lot of truth. And he says the things, I mean, he's pretty accurate these days with what he says. And
wow. That's big.
Maybe one thing he said recently was not accurate, but go ahead.
Well, I sent him a resume. No, I'm just kidding. But like you race Denny. Denny knows how to make the race the easiest on himself. Like we caught Denny. As soon as we got position on him, he didn't mess around. Because you know what happens when you race side by side here. You get side by side for a couple straightaways.
Here comes all their friends.
Here they come.
Yeah.
And Denny knows how to limit his losses on the track. And that's why you might not see him in the top 5, but he's right there. And he knows how to run a very smart race. But he could go on and win the next 2 races. The 20 car could. Tyler, I mean, he could get hot. There's honestly, there's probably 5 or 6 guys that you could be afraid of right now.
This might be the first time you've ever spoke kindly of Denny.
It's going to be ironic. I might speak unkindly.
I mean, when he was on the show with us, you were saying how, he was your crew guy.
He was. Me and Denny have had a lot of fun back. We've had a lot of good times.
That's good. Listen, I think there's 8 or 9 guys that you could say are fast enough. It's just, can they put it together?
Luck, being smart. But this is where I'm saying, like, Denny knows how, and some of these, like, Martin knows how to get to the end of these races, and he might not make a move. Some of these young guys might try to make a gap that might not be there. Well, when that gap closes up and it don't work out, you got guys like Denny takes advantage of it, Martin, Brad. These guys know how to do that.
All right, I'm excited to hear these. It's time for What an Idiot. Take it away, Freddie.
What an idiot. Man, I really, as nicely as TJ spoke about Denny Hamlin right there, I guess he was going to easily win my What an Idiot award for saying that you should get rid of all the stupid spotters last week on his show.
I retract everything I said about Denny. He is an idiot.
I was going to make him my What an Idiot forever, like until he comes on here and apologizes.
He's not.
Yeah, for trying to ruin our careers.
I forgot about that.
I mean, damn, bud.
Yeah.
I mean, what
Pills too, man.
I mean,
we got to eat.
Mouths to feed.
Damn.
I'll be over there sweeping the helipad next week. If
Me and Denny were playing craps one night in Vegas, and this dude, every time he threw the dice, he'd say, everybody got to eat. Denny, we got to eat, bro.
Yeah, you know what? We'll just turn Lambert's radio off. We walk by him.
His manager, Austin, listens every week because he always texts me after he listens, and he makes fun of TJ over here.
I hope he slapped the out of Denny when he said that.
So now Austin's going to text me about that. So.
Oh, yeah. Anyway.
So who's your idiot?
I don't know. I had that guy circled all week, and I don't know if anybody did anything real dumb this week.
Look at what I wrote down. I wonder what my what an idiot. Look at what's it say?
Freddie?
What's it say?
How?
It
For
says
what?
spotters.
For what?
Because there's some intense negotiations going on the roof. And there's some guys that are pretty new to the roof that are asking for astronomical amounts of money that they don't deserve. Like TJ Majors, Freddie Kraft, Mike Hellman, Tyler Green. These guys have paid 10 plus years of dues on the roof to make the market what it is. When I came into this job, I made $300 a week to spot. Bob Jeffries made $1,500 a week. Do you think I went to Robert Yates and said, you got to pay me what Bob makes? No, I didn't do that. I earned my way. I led laps at plate tracks. I won races, tried to keep my car out of trouble. So all you people that are up there, spotters, and I know I'm going to see y'all next weekend, I'm telling you, you're asking for you don't deserve. So you need to calm down and realize you got to earn your way. I came into the PR world. It paid a lady at Ganassi, which at the time was Sabco Racing, and she made $85,000 a year doing public relations. I made $30,000. All right, I worked my ass off, and then I had a management company. I managed drivers and whatever the hell else I've done. You don't just walk in and start making freaking Troy Aikman pay until you prove you can be Troy Aikman. So some of you spotters and managers or GMs are listening to this, loving this right now. Freddie's going to deserve what he gets. TJ's going to deserve what he gets.
You're screwed.
But some of y'all are asking for something you don't deserve.
Last time I said somebody was spoiled, he wouldn't talk to me for 2 weeks.
I don't give a I'm preaching the truth.
So you want to give it to Kligerman, which I will say, which I talked to him. I talked to him in the garage yesterday.
Did you slap the out of him too?
I said, damn, Parker, like what were you doing? And Parker said, once I realized who I was pushing, I realized I should not have been pushing.
Well, say that. Say that.
I didn't see any of it.
Who was he pushing?
I don't even know the guy's name. What's his name?
Caesar Baccarella.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
The 45 car, right?
Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't want to mess up. Did I pronounce that right?
We have.
I think
nobody in
that's
this room has any idea what that guy's name is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can tell you this.
I heard some light office discussion about him today, and that was
when
it.
Parker come off turn 2 and he went to square up the 45. He did not square up the 45. He hit the 45 in the left rear taillight area. And
Bad idea.
It wiggled him from the very beginning. But instead of, okay, let's let him catch it. No. Parker came out and just plowed through him and caused a huge wreck. And then went on and decided that it was someone else's fault. And I guess
race car drivers have a hard time taking the blame, though.
Facts.
It's hard. It's not in their makeup.
I mean, how about I just gave the guy a bad push trying to make progress? I mean, I can live with that. I mean, that's what happened.
Fair enough.
You have any idiots, Karsyn?
I don't have any idiots this week.
Yourself? You want to give yourself?
Just me.
Yeah.
Just the usual.
Just dumping papers on the floor.
Dumping papers on the floor.
She thought she had
Can't
a
talk.
drawer over there.
We should have
really
called.
did.
We should have called a couple of them guys that got black flag and got some of their quote. If you had a 1 and 8 this week, who would it be?
Oh God. I could have had some idiots the last 2 weeks of the car store races, but Ace wasn't.
Like who?
I will give the Cars Tour a lot of props for something. They are building
Yeah.
a lot of fun personalities. Like there's a lot of names that are getting bigger and bigger from a brand perspective. and it's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
we have an awesome group of guys. Like our pro late model field this year is a blast, and like our late model stocks, obviously we've had awesome races, but then they're also doing their due diligence to market themselves and be approachable. And I'm proud of all of them. They're doing a good job, and it's working for us.
You know what? So I ran into Blake, who does a great job with the broadcasting stuff at the Cars Tour.
Him and Eric are phenomenal.
Yeah, they do they make, you know how you listen to the radio version of that, and they can make a single file line sound exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I can't look away from the race when I hear Blake talking, because he's like, I'm nervous watching it because of Blake's they're just entertaining.
That run with Saturday or Friday night with Butterbean and Millington, where there was 10, 15 laps of them just, swapping the lead. And the fact that, it's one thing that they're doing an unbelievable job calling it, and then they're swapping back and forth almost like a radio style broadcast where, one guy's doing a lap or two, and it's like a seamless transition where neither one of them, you feel like neither one of them taking a breath, let alone been swapping with each other.
Yeah.
Two of them, Eric did another phenomenal job yesterday or was it today? It was yesterday.
ARCA.
On the ARCA broadcast at Coin, I think it was. Springfield, yeah. Eric, I think, is doing an amazing job. Blake's obviously working his way up that ladder too. So the two of them, just if you haven't tuned into a Cars Tour race on Flow, you won't be disappointed with the call.
Where the hell is Blake? He said he had to drive home. I think he couldn't be here on Monday because he couldn't be here.
Monday.
I know, but he had plenty of time.
He's still not here.
He said his flight landed in
Monday
Raleigh.
ever.
He said his flight landed in Raleigh at 6, so he couldn't make it tonight.
One thing about that Cars Tour race that I noticed is, you see Butterbean, he's obviously really good at these things. He knows where to hit these guys. Obviously, he found out where not to hit them once.
Penalty.
But he would get on the inside of Millington, and he was trying to slow up enough to let I think it was McCarty was in third then at that point in time. He was trying to get the third place guy close enough so Ryan couldn't cross him over on the exit of the corner. And that's some smart.
It's big brain. That's big bean stuff, right?
Big bean. That's big bean. Yep.
Shout out to Bobby. How's Bobby doing? Okay. I know they had some carbon
actually
monoxide poisoning.
Talked to him today. He's all good, on the mend. It was
some scary.
Really crazy. And of course, of all days for me to be on infield safety when I'm never supposed to be that responsible, I'm like, great, but all is well. All right, what do you say we get into some
Make
DBC
a hung
picks?
bean shirt.
Hung bean.
No, hung money's it. That's it. That's it. All right, DBC picks for Daytona.
All right, so Casey is first. She sent me her picks. She is going with Michael McDowell.
It's a good pick.
I almost bore your ass out with Hocevar here.
Jay, I have 9 wins, not 8.
Nope, he still got 8.
No, I got 9. I won 6 of the first 9, and then I got cold. Now I'm back hot. I won 2 of the last 3.
Yeah, I didn't put your name in the green column, so that's how it updates. So, sorry. You got 9.
Casey took my pick.
Who Casey pick?
McDowell.
Is it my turn?
Am out of people.
It is your turn.
I will take, making his triumphant return to spotting at Daytona, I'll take Austin Dillon.
You're going to win.
This feels like insider trading. It's not fair.
There's no reason for TJ to even pick at this point.
I'm done.
Brett Griffin, Austin Dillon in a 3-car. Yeah.
Unbeatable combo.
What else do you need? Oh, my God.
You only got 2 races left, TJ. Then it resets.
Oh, man.
I think I'm going to win next week.
I am screwed next week.
You're all screwed next week.
I'm going to go with Corey LaJoie.
That's a good pick. So, Karsyn, if you were me, would you take Harrison Burton, Eric Jones, who's actually pretty decent at Darlington, but also have Alex Bowman sitting there for Darlington?
We're not even looking for Darlington.
I know, but I'm talking about I don't want to.
Oh, you want to leave them for? Okay.
I'm either going to use an Eric Jones or an Alex Bowman at Darlington. The Fords are just fast. I feel like I got to go with a Penske car with a Wood Brothers affiliation. I feel like Harrison's my guy. He's obviously got a lot to race for. You don't.
I like it. You make your pick. I'm going to tell you why you're wrong here in a second, but that's fine.
Well, if you just made that face, I don't feel good about it
No,
anymore.
I mean, there's not, like you said,
I think it's a
Penske
great
car.
pick,
I think
Brett.
it's a great pick for you.
Yeah, it's a great pick for you.
I'm rethinking it. But I'm going to do it anyway because it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Harrison Burton.
That's not a good
I think the
I would
guy.
have went Zane Smith.
I think the guy you left on the table there is Todd Gilliland.
I looked at him
who
too.
ran really well at Daytona earlier in the year.
He did. I've got too many bad guys that are good there.
Did you see what
I don't
did?
know if you can say that. I mean,
That's not nice.
I feel that way.
That's offensive.
I can't do it.
can't do it.
I can't do it.
Oh,
You left
couldn't
it.
pick yourself.
I can't do it.
Wow, I can't believe you left yourself.
I can't do it. Every time I do that,
It's
I
wreck.
mean, yeah, I'll be in the.
You're already in the
lake.
playoff.
I'll be in Lake Lloyd.
Brad, can you
I
swim?
won't be.
Lake Lloyd.
Lake Lloyd. Where's that appearance deal? At?
LFL.
So Daytona, how many laps are we going to be saving gas?
None. We're going hard.
I want to do that.
I would say about half the first stage, half the second stage, and half the third stage.
You're gonna save until you go to pit road for the last time. Just see. We'll race hard, Brett. We're gonna be wide open
Yeah,
the
we're
entire
all
time.
wide
Okay, we'll race with you. Just plan on that.
Okay.
Hey, speaking of Daytona, you guys want to come hang out with us? We're doing some meet and greet this week. What are we
Guess
doing?
who gets to go now?
Oh
Me.
yeah, you're coming now.
I'm coming.
Yeah, you're coming.
Yeah.
Huh?
We're going to the Hellman's mayonnaise booth, right?
Yes, we are. What it's
If there's one thing I love in my house is mayonnaise.
oh yeah, you run through it quick over there.
Bodie, he didn't eat it for years, and he's 11, and this past year, and now he puts like double mayonnaise on egg sandwiches, and
Mayonnaise is the because it can be like an aioli, a
Yeah.
sauce,
Mayonnaise
regular
and egg
a
mayonnaise.
little bit of everything.
yeah.
What? Mayonnaise and egg?
It's
Hey.
like potatoes.
You never had an egg sandwich
Versatile.
with mayonnaise on it?
No.
Like egg
Wait,
salad.
what did you just say?
I've had
An
like
egg sandwich with mayonnaise.
Like egg salad?
Oh no, he's talking about an egg
Just
sandwich, like a
eggs?
you
breakfast.
scramble
like a
two
breakfast.
eggs and you put it on a bread with mayonnaise and cheese.
never had that.
I mean, it's just an egg sandwich. You put mayonnaise
I
on
don't
it.
know
I
about
guess.
that.
Anyway,
Have you ever
Okay.
had an egg sandwich?
No, I
Me
don't
neither.
want to either.
Yeah.
you've never had a breakfast sandwich, like eggs, like bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich?
I mean, yeah, like
Oh,
on a bagel, but,
yeah, but never put.
he's talking about like
never
scrambled
put
eggs with
mayonnaise on.
mayonnaise and cheese.
You also put mayonnaise on a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich.
You might.
you eat liver
You
mush?
don't know what I eat.
Do you eat
Liver
liver
I don't
mush?
eat bagels.
No.
It's disgusting.
liver
Horrid.
mush. Where did that come
Anything
from?
called
the last
liver,
time
anything I'm not
somebody
eating.
asked me a question. I got, you ever had liver mush? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna make you some.
Don't.
First of all, I tried it. It was burnt to a crisp, and I doused it with ketchup. I'm like,
This
good.
is good.
Never ate again.
Anyway,
My sister eats it.
we're going to be at the Hellman's Midway display in between the
Yeah.
Exalta entry gate and the Toyota entry gate. There's going to be entertainment, prize giveaways, and a bunch of fan interviews. We're going to do a Q&A
Yeah.
from 3:30 to 4. I know there's going to be a racing simulator over there. The DJ Brett's going to be playing. They're going to have Brett's iPad plugged in.
You bring the bread, I'll bring the eggs for Brett. We'll have some mayonnaise,
Some
egg
bacon.
sandwiches. Yeah. Oh, you know bacon on it. It's gonna be better.
we're looking forward to seeing everybody over there. It'll be a fun time. We haven't done one of these in a while. I can't remember. We did one at their fan day. That was back in May.
Probably a
but at the
reason for
track
that.
was, every time we let Brett do one, we were talking about Jimmy's. and
Honestly, I thought we were
Dewey's
good, and then Brett got back on the roof, and I'm like, "God, this is the last appearance we're doing again."
Just come to me at the display and tell me your favorite way to eat mayonnaise. That'll make me happy.
Brett will slather some on.
Well, I mean, like when I was growing up, Grandma would make a roast for lunch, and then at night you go back over there and have a roast sandwich with a bunch of mayonnaise. I just don't know how Karsyn has these Kannapolis, North Carolina ties and doesn't have mayonnaise on sandwiches.
I do, just not egg sandwiches. I said I
Yeah.
just have never had an egg
She
sandwich.
said she likes mayonnaise earlier.
You're starting
she
to
said
aff-
it's
you're
much-
offending
You're
me.
naming things that just doesn't really sync with
It's like the
mayonnaise.
three.
Yeah.
It's like the 3 T's.
A BLT
Yeah.
with mayonnaise? Absolutely.
Yeah,
What
sure.
about peanut butter, mayonnaise,
No,
and banana?
absolutely not. Already,
Mayonnaise and peanut butter.
What?
You're getting wild.
He's just made.
You're just
Like
making
when the
shit up at
banana
this
mayonnaise
point.
sandwich thing went down, I'm out on that.
And then Mom would sprinkle sugar on top of it too.
It's just a consistency
This is-
thing. It's just
okay.
like slimy.
Anyway.
I don't like this.
Daytona. Looking forward to it. Hope to
heck
see
yeah.
everybody over at the Hellman's fan experience.
No practice.
No practice. Straight to qualifying and racing. This
Just how
week.
you like it,
Just how
Brett.
you
Although
like
you
it.
vouch for you like practice, don't you?
Not now that he's spotting.
I
He's
think
back-
the schedule this weekend's amazing.
He was hollering a month ago. He wanted practice.
Yeah, we
Now-
need more. We need an hour. Oh, man. Hey, before we get going, I want to give a shout out to one of our DBC listeners, Master Gunnery Sergeant Bradley Campbell, recently retired from the military. I think he was in for 23 years. He said he went in at 17. He's a friend of mine. I reached out and wanted to say congrats to him. So congrats, Bradley. And we know you're a listener. And thank you for your service.
And the world lost one of the most iconic race car drivers in American history. Scott Bloomquist. If you don't know that name, then you've been living under a rock. Like, man, nobody did it their way more than he did.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Yes.
yes.
And he's won everything like
Yes.
34 times.
Yeah, whatever
Like-
it is. Yeah, it's. I mean, to hear that news getting on the plane, we were getting on the plane to go down to Michigan, and I was like, everybody on the plane was the same way. Like
Same
it
thing.
starts popping up, and you're like,
Yeah.
this can't be real. This
Yeah.
has got to be a hoax. Like this, it's one of them guys you just looked at as indestructible, and unfortunately, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Shout out also, lost a friend of mine today in the racing community. Worked with Eric Goodale a lot, the Goodale family, and their prayers. Jay Shepard passed away today, actually. So just thinking about him and his family, his wife Jody, their kids. Just a tough loss for the Northeast racing community.
Also, Roy McCauley, a longtime Penske employee, won the Daytona 500, I believe, with Ryan Newman. Has been a fixture there for many years. Pretty big loss there. He was liked by a lot of people, and he was. I never got to work with him, but I know a lot of people that did and really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go race for those guys this weekend. Karsyn, thanks for subbing. We'll see you maybe next week.
Hopefully.
Are you busy?
Yeah.
Do you like it? Did you have
I'll
fun?
have to check my schedule.
Okay.
If there's Fireball next time, I keep telling y'all.
Okay. All right.
Keep telling you.
We got to get
I'm
the
gonna-
elf.
The problem is, if it don't rain, next week's going to be a hangover show because we're off on Sunday.
Which
So-
means we're going to Big
So
Owls.
we're going to Big Owls. And
Which
then-
means we should just record from there, honestly.
But yeah. And hey, by the way, my notes. Shout out to Kevin from Virginia, our buddy Kevin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's not a little under the weather these days. So just thinking about you, buddy. I think everybody in the NASCAR world knows Kevin from Virginia. If you listen to any Sirius or any,
you want if you look up dedicated,
Yeah.
this guy.
Yeah.
We just
his-
saw him
his
at
picture
Langley.
comes
yeah,
up.
we get a tweet from him every week about how listening to the show.
Yes.
So we're thinking about you, bud. Hope you get well soon.
See y'all next week. We out.
Holla.